In a world that never stops scrolling, there exists a quiet act of resistance, choosing to remain unseen. Most never pause to wonder why. They label it as insecurity, as shyness, as a fear of the camera's gaze. But the truth is far more profound and far more revealing about what it means to be human in a digital age. This isn't a story about hiding. This is a story about holding on to something precious. If you've ever felt a silent hesitation before hitting post, if your finger has hovered over the upload button only to retreat, then this exploration, in a quiet way, is also for you. Let's move beyond the assumptions. Let's step into the mindset of someone who guards their image, not out of fear, but from a place of deep internal knowing. It begins with a subtle internal signal, one many feel but few discuss. The moment you look at your own image on a screen and feel a gentle disconnect. It's not that the picture is bad. It's that it feels like a costume, not a true reflection. So you close the app. You move on, not with regret, but with a quiet assurance that your reality doesn't require an audience to be validated. This is the first layer, an internally anchored identity. For these individuals, the self is not a sculpture to be viewed from every angle, but a rich, lived experience felt from within. Their sense of worth is built from thoughts, private reflections, and lived moments, not from the external feedback loop of likes and comments. The digital world screams for faces. They listen for meaning. The platform demands visibility. They seek authenticity. This isn't a rejection of connection. It's a different path to it, but there's a second, deeper dimension at play. These individuals often perceive the world in layers, in textures and emotions, rather than in flat, shareable images. They are the observers, the listeners, the ones who absorb the mood of a room, the subtext of a conversation. For them, pulling out a phone to capture a moment can feel like interrupting it. Their expression flows more naturally through words, through creative acts, through the quality of their attention. Posting a photo isn't their native language. Contemplation is. Then, we arrive at a crucial point, often mistaken for coldness, a profound relationship with vulnerability. This isn't about avoidance, it's about discernment. They understand, on an intuitive level, that once an image is released online, it ceases to be purely theirs. It becomes a public object, subject to projections, interpretations, and judgments they never intended. Sharing their face isn't a casual act, it's an intimate one. And intimacy, for them, is earned through trust, not distributed by default. What is often labeled as privacy is, in fact, a form of emotional strength, a conscious choice in a culture that conflates openness with honesty. Now, let's examine the roots. Often, this disposition stems from one of three backgrounds. First, growing up where attention felt intrusive, not welcoming, leading to a comfort in softer forms of presence. Second, experiencing a period where they felt overly scrutinized, which forged a powerful desire to reclaim ownership of their own narrative. Third, possessing a temperament that thinks deeply, feels profoundly, and trusts gradually. For them, privacy isn't a fortress wall. It's a protected garden where the most delicate parts of the self can grow. There's another, almost philosophical, layer here. For some, there exists a tangible gap between their visual appearance and their inner felt identity. Their self-concept is emotional, intellectual, spiritual, not primarily visual. A photograph doesn't capture their essence. It can feel like a reduction. They aren't afraid of being judged. They are wary of being simplified, of being turned into a static object when their reality is fluid and complex. So, What is it like to move through a world obsessed with display? They scroll, they observe, they engage with ideas. But internally, a quiet mantra resonates. I do not need to prove my existence to experience it. They feel no envy, only a peaceful recognition that their path is different. Their validation comes from an internal source, a stability that doesn't fluctuate with algorithms or trends. This points us to a powerful psychological insight. Research suggests individuals who value this kind of privacy often score higher in private self-consciousness. They are deeply aware of their inner state rather than public self-consciousness, which is concerned with how one appears to others. Their locus of identity is internal. They know themselves, so they don't require the mirror of public perception to feel real. This leads to a beautiful paradox. While they may share less visually, their actual connections can carry more weight. When they choose to reveal themselves, their face, their unfiltered presence, it is deliberate and meaningful. It becomes a gift of trust, not a habitual broadcast. In a world of casual oversharing, intentional sharing becomes profound. Let's consider time. A photograph freezes a moment, but not everyone wants their memories crystallized. Some prefer their experiences to remain fluid, living things inside them, evolving with each recollection. They prioritize how a moment felt over how it looked. Posting can feel like turning living experience into archived content, pulling them out of the flow of being present. They understand that not every beautiful thing needs to be preserved. Some are meant to be fully lived, then carried inward. What does this mean for how they navigate digital spaces? They often find a unique power in anonymity. It's not about hiding. It's about the freedom to express ideas without the baggage of appearance, assumptions, or preconceived notions. It allows their words, their thoughts, to stand purely on their own merit. For a deep thinker, that is a form of liberation. And finally, we reach the core, the most poetic understanding. These individuals often operate from a place of deep self-respect. They grasp the critical difference between being open with their inner world and being exposed to the outer world. They can be remarkably transparent about their thoughts and feelings while being fiercely protective of their image. This isn't a contradiction, it's a boundary. They refuse to be misinterpreted, to have their complexity flattened into a single frame. They wish to be known in full dimension by those willing to look beyond the surface. Visibility is not the price of existence. Some truths are too rich to be framed. So, the next time you encounter a profile without a face, or a friend who never posts their picture, see it not as an absence, but as a different kind of presence. It is the presence of depth in a shallow stream, of intention in a noisy room, of a self that is owned so completely it doesn't need to be constantly presented for review. They aren't missing from the digital world. They are experiencing it on their own, deeply human terms. And if this perspective resonated with you, if it gave language to a feeling you've held quietly, then help these ideas find others who need to hear them. Please give this video a like and subscribe to Winds of Thought for more explorations into the unseen landscapes of the human experience. Thank you for watching and for choosing depth